All right, let's do it. Holy shit. What in the hell was that? Oh hell no. Oh, I'm gonna get real pissed. Dude. Shit's haunted. See? Told you what you were getting into. That's not good. Oh, there we go. Whew, that scared the shit out of me. I gotta be careful. Yeah, right? There we go. I'm just gonna, there we go. Go backwards. There we go. All right, how's everybody doing this morning? I know I asked you that like 5 times, so just play along with me, please. Entertain me. It's the last day of CodeMash. House cleaning tips. If you have any questions for me, come see us at the booth, at the TuxCare booth. I think we got cleaned out last night. We left a bunch of swag out, but we got some more stuff. Come and talk to me over there if you want to know about anything that we do at TuxCare. Come and talk to us out there. Catch me in the hallway track. Whatever you want to do. It's just easier for me to answer questions one-on-one in a more organic situation instead of a room like this. And I'll explain why in a minute. Whose first CodeMash is this? No? Okay. So second CodeMash, hands up. Third CodeMash, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9. We had this conversation. 10, 11, 12. Magnus goes all the way back. He's an old schooler. Awesome. What has been your favorite session of the week? Whether you went to workshops, maker spaces, talks yesterday. I know you're probably going to do talks later today. What's been the highlight so far? Why gave up one? Okay, that works. Lunch, breakfast, coffee, pop. I said pop. That's right. Midwest the best. Don't get it twisted. So huge shout out to CodeMash for bringing me back in yet again for another year to speak. I've held various roles at CodeMash in my 10 plus years of attending. That's right, woo! I've been a volunteer, I've been an attendee, I've been a speaker, I've worked on the speaker selection committee, I've sponsored these events. I have done stuff for the organization. I've worked with Bob, with high school students. I did that last year. CodeMash is, walking into the Kalahari for CodeMash is like coming home to me. It's just one of those things. I feel like I'm coming home. CodeMash was the first conference I ever attended. CodeMash was the first conference I ever spoke at. So it's near and dear to my heart, and I'm extremely grateful for everybody that makes this conference what it is. If you see anybody running around in a red hoodie, or anybody that's in a jacket or anything that's working for the event, tell them thank you. Does anybody know when you start planning a conference? The day after the conference ends. That's when you start planning the next year. They put a lot of work into this. So please, please, please give them an elbow, some knuckles, a hug, whatever you prefer. I would really appreciate it. And also thank your sponsors. If it wasn't for sponsors, we wouldn't be able to do this. Flat out. You need money to put on a conference. And because of these sponsors, they're helping to bring the developer community back. And developer community is my lifeblood, and I'll get into that. So if you get a chance, I have a rule when it comes to sponsors: functional swag only. Nobody needs another beer koozie. I know you don't. You got a drawer at home full of them. And you probably don't even use them. You just like to collect them. Maybe you might put them in a frame one day. That's my idea. It's never gonna happen. Hand sanitizer, always a must. Grab the hand sanny. Maybe a pen here or there. A portable fan. Those are all fun to grab. But if you could thank the sponsors, I would also really, really appreciate that. Come on, there we go. Let's see. That's the official hashtag for the event. So if you are tweeting around LinkedIn or Blue Sky, if you could hashtag CodeMash as well as tagging CodeMash, that would be amazing. That's great for the organizers to see the engagement, who's enjoying what talks they're in, what community is being built. I would really, really appreciate that. Is everybody still on Twitter? I said not X, I said Twitter. Will always be Twitter. None of y'all? Man. Blue Sky? Okay. Is anybody still working with Mastodon? Really? How's that faring out for you? No shit. Wow. Good. You won't catch me on Mastodon. These are the show notes for the event. So if you want, you can take a screenshot of this or QR code this. It'll also be available at the end. All the resources for this talk are here. The slides are here. And if you want to re-watch this talk again, once it's done, I get it edited and uploaded. You can enter to win a prize on the show notes website, or you can get notified when the video drops. So definitely scan that. Like I said, it'll be available at the end of the talk as well. This is the official hashtag for me and the developer community. Like I was saying, my lifeblood's the developer community. I'm here for everybody that's in this room. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna crack jokes. But I'm sure you're all aware that years ago, a few years back, we went through a really troubling time. We're still going through troubling times. But we almost lost developer community. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't like looking at a camera giving a conference talk without being able to see my audience. I need to be able to see you and look in your eyes. I need to be able to see you laugh. I need to see the jaws drop. I need to see the light bulbs go off. I even need to see you get maybe a little vulnerable if I'm talking about hooks you. I need that. You're the reason I do what I do. You're the reason I travel all over the world to help learn and teach and mentor. And we almost lost that. And we're bringing that back now. So if you could, anything that you're putting out there, if you hashtag developer community, that would be great too. That's me. My name is Chris, born and raised in Metro Detroit. I'm a senior developer advocate at TuxCare. Has everybody heard of TuxCare? Well, come to the booth and learn about TuxCare. I can give you a little rundown though. We do a couple different products. The one that I support is the endless life cycle support for end of life solutions. So let's say you're running an older version of Angular or AngularJS or Vue that is now no longer supported, no more community patches, no more vendor patches. We patch that for you. You pull in our dependencies. We keep you patched and secure for the life of the product that you're working with us. We also patch transitive dependencies out of the box at no extra cost, which is really, really good. And I'll get into why that's good, because most of your cybersecurity attacks happen within your transitive dependencies. You can catch me on Twitter, Sultan Burnham, or you can catch me at bluesky.christomars.net. I've held various accolades within the community, but currently I'm only a Progress champion. So if you want to know more about that, there may or may not be some people from Progress here, but it's a pretty cool little program. A little bit about me, I'm a paranormal enthusiast. If you didn't know that from the talk, I'm a competitive bass angler. Yes, I do fish for money, and I also play competitive paintball for money. So if you want to know about any of that stuff, we can definitely have a conversation. And I also, come on, keep going. This sucks. I think this thing, there we go. I also believe in cryptids, UFOs, and ghosts. So, does everybody believe in cryptids in here? No? There's the exit. Nobody believes in Bigfoot? Mothman? Favorite cryptid. Fresno Nightcrawler? No? Skunk ape? I'll keep going. Chupacabra? Anybody believe in UFOs? They're real. How do you think the pyramids got built? Do some research on the Anunnaki. Ghosts? All right, good. That's what I like to see. Do what? Scott, nobody asked you to talk. This is the name of the talk, Possessed by Packages. Is your JavaScript haunted? So we're going to talk a little bit about paranormal world. We're going to talk a little bit about JavaScript. And I got a little demo. Hopefully the demo gods don't screw me up on this one. But it'll be fun. Just a quick note, all JavaScript is haunted. I'll tell you that right off the rip. All of it. Doesn't matter what you do. All of it's haunted. The reason it's haunted is because it was built in 10 days by somebody. I'm not going to name any names. But a lot of the bugs that we still have out there in like the JavaScript land are because of that. So just a little tip. It's all haunted. So kind of the agenda, we're going to talk about the haunting and what it's like. We are going to talk about the signs of a haunting. This is all going to relate back to tech. We're going to talk about the exorcism and how to get rid of those things. And then we are going into the 4 levels of possession. Do I have any friends that are friends? I mean, you're all my friends. Any Ed and Lorraine fans in here? Okay, let me ask you another question. Any fans of the Conjuring series in here? Okay, there you go. There you go. Does anybody have any Annabelle dolls at home? I do. Not the real one. Matt Rife owns that now. There's 4 levels to possession, and if you've watched the Conjuring series, you'll understand. I don't know why I threw this in there. I thought it was just fun. So you have infestation, obsession, oppression, and then finally possession. And you can really relate all of this to being a web and software developer. You can kind of relate it to the whole entire piece of the pie that we call web and software. If you really think about it, because when shit kind of hits the fan, you kind of get obsessed as to why you got to fix it. And you're just like, oh, it's in me, and then I can't do anything. That's kind of how it works. But think about it like this, right? Think about this for a minute. Node modules, right? How many front-end devs are in here? Back-end devs, designers, okay, VPs, directors, product owners. Node modules. It's a funny thing, those node modules, right? You could sort of look at it like an endless, vast forest. How many of you are going into your node modules? None of you. See, so that's going to lead into my second question. How many of you are going into all the packages within your node modules to look at every single package JSON file within those packages? None of you, which is fine. I also don't do that. And the reason I don't do that is because A, I don't have enough time to do that. And B, the people who created those packages are 100 times smarter than I am. So I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. If they're smarter than me, I'm going to trust their packages. I'm going to trust what they've built in order for me to use it, right? But you can really, really get tripped up within the world inside the node modules. And we've all seen this meme before, right? Heaviest objects in the world, right? We got the sun, a neutron star, a black hole, and the node modules just keeps going and going and going and going, and it's nonstop. So if I had to ask you, within your node modules, how many packages you have in your application that you're building, would you know how many node modules and how many packages are in your JavaScript or any app for that matter? You can shout out numbers. I love this game. It's a fun little game I like to play with my audience. How many packages in your application? 600. 600. What else? 2 million. What else? Nobody said that. That's my number.
The limit does not exist.
Do what?
The limit does not exist.
Yes. How many more? 5? How many? Couple thousand? Well, there's a way to find out. So, there is a command that you can run in your terminal. Is everybody like playing around in their terminal? Okay, sweet. Who's still using iTerm on a Mac? Who uses Warp? Who's using Ghosty? Who's using Subsystem for Linux Windows World thing? Who uses like a default terminal? Like on a Linux, okay. I love it. I love that you're using the terminal. That's awesome. Well, you can run this in your terminal. This will list out, ls is list for any Linux command newbies. ls stands for list, so this lists out stuff that's in your directory. You can run npm ls within your project, and this will give you a list of dependencies, right? Your packages, your dependencies. That's it, right? That's it. Face value, that's it. Those are just listing your direct dependencies. Why wouldn't you want to list all your dependencies? And there's no wrong answer. Why wouldn't you want to do that? It's overwhelming. You sure should. It's overwhelming. Right. There could be a lot there, right? It could overflood your terminal. You got to scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. We can do it though. We can do it. You can run npm ls-all, and that will list all of the dependencies within that project. So let's do that. Just go to your terminal. So this is the integrated terminal inside VS Code. Did everybody use the VS Code? Right on. Cool, we got them. Sweet. And we got them. And we got more. And we got some more. Anybody got any good jokes they want to tell before this finishes? I promise you it ends. Yeah, what's up? Scott, I told you to be quiet. What? What's a dog's favorite part of the house? Get out of my room. Sit back down, Scott. You know I love you. Scott Showalter, everybody. He's a comedian. Come on, give him a round of applause. Scott's good people. So yeah, we can do this, but it's A, it's overwhelming. B, it can flood the terminal. If you have buffers and stuff, you might not even be able to scroll back up. There's a lot there, but there's a way you can tell. All of this has to do with supply chain. This is a Svelte app. This isn't mine. Thankfully, Unsplashed has amazing screenshots. But this all leads back to supply chains. Anybody working in supply chain security? So we know how it works, right? Things go up, things go down, things get packaged up. You could sort of look at it like this, right? Everything that you rely on, further down the chain you go, the more vulnerability that you're going to run into, right? Different parts. You could think of it sort of like a Jenga game, right? A crack in this, or like break the ice. Remember we used to play break the ice as kids and then if the guy falls, you lost the game. Sort of like that. A little bit of a crack in there, or a little bit of misplacement can topple the whole entire thing. And you have differences between your public NPM registries and your private NPM registries, right? And a lot of this comes back to knowledge and configuration. So let's talk about the haunting for a bit. There is one way that supply chain security can be compromised. There are a lot of bad actors out there. There just are. I know most of us probably wanted to be hackers when we were younger. That's why we got into this field, right? I started writing code in 95, 96, so I'm dating myself. But the main driver behind that was 95 was the year that the movie Hackers came out. And I had a computer, who started out with a Tandy 1000 series from Radio Shack? What? Okay, you're old school. Commodores? Okay. Well, I had a Tandy 1000 as a kid, ran on DOS. Upgraded years later to a Windows 95 machine. I was writing code in Notepad. I was saving my files as index.html, index1.html, index2.html, because that was the original version control. I'm going way back. The good old days of the web. Frames and tables, guest books and counters and web rings. That was the good old days of the web. Blink tag, right? Blink tag's deprecated now. Marquee tag you can still use though. Does anybody know what the marquee tag is? All right, that's my old schoolers right there. I like that. Everybody remembers the blink tag too? You can replicate that with CSS and JavaScript, but it's still not as fun as just using blink. But there's one way that hackers can infiltrate packages, right? And create malicious packages. Is everybody familiar with typo-squatting? Cool, so perfect. So y'all are gonna learn something today. Awesome. So typo-squatting is a way to change a package name, right? An attacker registers a package that is off by a letter or has too many letters. You see this, a great example of this is malicious attackers will also purchase domains and they'll change it up a little bit. How many of you have went to your address bar and typed in guthub.com? All of you have, and if your hand isn't up, you're lying. Don't you shake your head, sir. I call bullshit. I've done it plenty of times. And I'm pretty sure that GitHub does own guthub.com, right? But attackers will do that. Or they'll register a domain, you type it in because of muscle memory, it looks the same as the domain that you normally go to, and it can take information, right? Same thing happens with packages. There's malicious attackers out there who are creating packages that are off by a letter or have a couple other letters, We go to install those thinking, hey, I've done this a million times. You mess up, you hit an S twice or something. You install it just from muscle memory. I don't need to go to Express's website and copy and paste npm install Express. I've done it before. I know how to not look at a keyboard and type quickly. But sometimes you mess up, you fat finger it, whatever the case may be. And then you can install a malicious package. You're not gonna go in your package.json or your node modules and look at it. You'll just see the output in the terminal. Okay, sweet, yeah, this was installed, awesome. Are you gonna go now back into your node modules, find that package, look at your package.json and see what you installed? Chances are you're not gonna do that, right? Off by too many letters. So how does that happen? I kind of explained it to you. Here's a good example. Cross-env, that's a package you can install. There's also a package out there that is cross-env. If somebody tells you, hey, install cross-env. Okay, I'm just gonna install this, right? Now you're introducing possible malicious code within your packages that relate right back to the supply chain. So you don't wanna do that. Here's another one. Dependency confusion. Is everybody familiar with the term dependency confusion? Cool. We're learning. So, this is from Spectral Ops, the Spectral Ops blog. Nearly 49% of organizations are exposed to risks of a dependency confusion attack. And I have a demo on how this works. This is the demo I was talking about. I love this meme. Like is life an npm install. You never know what you're gonna get. It's very true. So what dependency confusion is, let me see here. Let me go back. Yep. When there's another package out there that's created that is pretty much like the exact same package, same naming, everything, right? But it's not in the private domain, it's in the public domain. So there's two ways this can happen that you can install these. One, if your CI/CD is not configured properly, to go to the private registry first. Or two, someone newer to the team just installs something without installing something that comes from a private registry. Private registries, you're looking at Artifactory, Nexus, like those are your private internal registries where you can keep your packages. Or if you want to build packages that other people are going to be using, you can use a private registry for that. So the way it sort of looks is like this. You set up your CI/CD, when you're running your CI build or whatever, you do an npm install. Chances are, if it's not configured properly, it's going to go to npm's public registry. Or if you're in Python world, PyPy, right? It's not going to make its way to the private registry, or the legit package is at. So you want to make sure that you have all of those configs in place and you have your security policies in place. Make sure that if you're building anything that's out, and you've seen this before, scope your packages. Scoping your packages lets the CI/CD know, hey, this is in a private registry, it's scoped, this is legit, opposed to going out there and finding another package with the same name that isn't scoped. And that's what this looks like. You've seen this before, right? @scope/your awesome package. That's the one you're going to want to install. You don't want to start installing stuff all over the place. So let me see if I can spin this demo up. Hopefully it works. I don't think I need this anymore. Now we can see this, right? Cool. So this is like a regular, it's just a Vite app with React out of the box, npm install Vite at latest. You can do all the React-y cool stuff with Vite. So if we go back to VS Code, I'm using a tool called, I think it's called Verdaccio. Has anybody heard of this tool before? Verdaccio. Is it Verdaccio? Is it? Okay. I couldn't tell because it's got the double C. It's really cool. It's a way to create like a local npm registry on your machine. So if you were figuring out how to like create a cool package or maybe try to install like a malicious package, you can create those packages locally, publish them to Verdaccio. It's Italian. I love Italian. And then you can use these packages without even publishing them to any registry. So that way, if you do this and you're doing some testing, nobody accidentally goes to NPM and installs your stuff and like really screws up their whole entire, life. But you create an npm RC file and you can test. This is how you test it. So like you just put in a registry saying that like the unscoped package is just going to go to registry localhost, and then you have the scope package, which I have commented out. So if we go into the app.js, I'm going to put in here, we're going to import, let me uncomment this here. And we're going to change this to malicious package. If I can type, what did I call it? Yeah, malicious package. Import. I can't spell. It's too early in the morning. Dash package. Import demo button from, oh shit. Malicious. There we go. All right, so it's going to fail, which is fine. I am going to clear this out. And then we're going to, we'll install it for fun. Install malicious package. Okay, so we installed the malicious package. We're pulling it from that fake NPM registry to test it. So we have import demo button from a malicious package. And I hope this works. So we pull in our import, our demo button, save it, and then we run the server again, npm run dev. Did I spell it wrong? There we go. What's it saying? Oh, duh. I don't need that. Well. Oh, what's it? Hacked via unscoped dependency. Oh, no, that's not good. How do we fix this? We install, and you could say it was malicious package, right? Or it could be legit package. And then at scope/legit package, right? Legit package and legit package are the same. One's private, one's public. So now, we just installed a malicious package from NPM. That's not cool. All right, I can't get out of here. I'm kind of locked out. So that's to show that how you can do this just by installing something, right? That might have the same name. So think that malicious package and legit package are the same. So let me kill the server again. Clear that out. And so in the middle, in this middle section right here, this is Verdaccio running. And then I have just both terminals open, one to run the server and then one to run my npm install commands, et cetera, et cetera. So let's go back and uninstall malicious package. I'm going to import, let's see, we're going to go back to our npm RC file. I want to comment that out and then uncomment this because this is the one I want to use. And it's, what was it? My org/legit package. We're going to save that. We're going to npm, let me get rid of this. We're going to install it. Okay, sweet. I'm going to install a scoped package, right? My org/legit package. Cool. Found 0 vulnerabilities. We've installed that. I import it into my React app because it's in my package folder in my node modules. We have the demo button here that we pulled in. Save it. We're going to run our server. Refresh. And now we're good. That malicious package, what that also malicious package did, it inverted all the CSS and it gave you an alert. There's a lot of things that can happen there. So now we're back to normal and we got a cool little blue button, and that is the intended the intended, what's the word I'm looking for? Behavior. That's the intended behavior of what we want to do. We wanted to just install a demo button that was cool and we can configure it however we want, but instead we installed a malicious package that could also have the same name, legit package, that inverted all the CSS, did an alert. It could have installed a bunch of malicious things that you don't even see that's happening under the hood. Does you remember the Shai Hulud attack that happened last year? Do you remember that? So if you didn't remember that, the way that worked was, there was a package out there. And this is with your transitive dependencies, like I was saying. A lot of your attacks come from your transitive dependencies, not your direct dependencies. There's a package out there, and it's called Tiny Color. And Tiny Color there was some things that went into Tiny Color. It affected a bunch of NPM packages across the stack, excuse me, all the way through supply chain. It was a really, really big NPM attack. And it was a direct dependency, but it was also being used as a transitive dependency. All it did, it was a color function. That's all it was a color function that a lot of packages and applications use. And it was infiltrated, people installed it, or people didn't install it, but since it's transitive, it came along for the ride. Another example. Most people use React in here. It doesn't even matter if it's React, but let's just use React. If you install React, you get React and React DOM, right? There might be one other script. Or Next. If you install Next, you get Next, React, and React DOM. Direct dependencies. Now, if you go into your node modules and you go into Next, the Next package, and you open up that package JSON file, you're going to see RxJS in there. Did you install RxJS? No, you didn't install RxJS. You installed Next. And what did Next tell you it installed? React and React DOM, just as your directs. But then you go in deeper and you dig into those and you're going to see all these other packages that came along for the ride. That's where the problem lays, in those transitive dependencies. So that's the demo. Did everybody like that? I'm glad it worked. That's cool. That was fun. But check out Verdaccio. If you're doing anything with packages and you want to test certain things, it takes all the headache out of worrying about publishing to NPM and then someone accidentally installing something that you created that you wanted to test. Is everybody familiar with backdoors? A little bit? So that's an attack. If you create a backdoor into a package, someone can find that backdoor and get in and bypass security. I want to play this for you. This is one of my favorite movies right here. Does everybody remember this movie?
This didn't come from Protovision.
You bet it did. Ask them where it did come from. You fucking ask them. I told you. Looks military to me. That's gonna be military. Probably classified too. Yeah, but if it's military, why does it have games like checkers and backend?
Maybe because it's a game that makes basic strategy.
How do I get into that system? I don't want to play with it. You're not supposed to see any of that stuff. That system probably pays their data encryption algorithm. You'll never get in there. I don't believe that any system is totally secure. It's Jim and Kid. Yeah, Reggie, I bet you could.
It's movie time in the morning with Chris. It's fun.
I can't believe it, Jim. That girl standing up there listening to your phone about our back door.
Backdoors are not secrets.
Yeah, but did you know all that's tricks?
They're not tricks. It's one type. Well, whenever I design a system, I always put it in the center. That's what they don't even know about. That way, whenever I want to get back in, I can bypass whatever security they don't know. That's
Yeah.
okay. You really want to get in and find out as much as you can about the guy who designed the system.
One of my favorite movies. Everybody like war games? Yeah, all right. That's a favorite of mine. But that is a great summarization of backdoors and what a backdoor is in web and software security. If you get access to a backdoor, there's a bunch of things that can get installed, right? Malware. There's phishing that can be installed, like phishing tactics. Unexpected software, right? All these things can be accessed or installed if a backdoor is accessed, right? So we got to be also cognizant of those things. So a brief history of backdoors. This is kind of how it all started, right? 60s and 70s, they were considered trapdoors, right? So people could get in, do what they need to do. If security's bypassed, security's added on. 1980s, the Morris worm. We have comic books at our booth, and the first issue is about the Morris worm. The OG, it's a comic book, made in-house by our team, not AI generated. That's issue number 1. We also have issue number 2 on the I Love You virus. Issue number 3 is in production right now. So come to the booth after this, grab a couple comics. They're pretty sweet. And we have 1990s, government tools started learning about these things. 2000s, starting to introduce kind of more hacker getting involved into backdoors, Trojans being installed at backdoors. And nowadays, a lot of this you're going to be seeing in the modern day is within IoT and the cloud. So this is kind of like the impact of backdoor systems, right? You have data and privacy loss, operational damage, which is never good, system disruption, attackers can shut down applications and change configurations, do a whole list of things. Financial damage, that's never good, right? System integrity and legal risks, unauthorized modifications, etc., etc. So how do you identify the symptoms? Things are going haywire. You're getting alerts from applications you're building. Colors are messed up. Stuff like this starts happening. This reminds me of 1990s web development right here. I love it. You can sort of think of it like this. Any Poltergeist fans? Love it. Has anybody seen the movie Poltergeist? All right. So then you know this. They're here. You can sort of think of this like, well, we're infiltrated now. They're here. The hackers are here. Our packages are screwed up. How do we go in and fix those? Network anomalies, connections. This is a really cool tool. This one, you could install, let me just get through here. I think Little Snitch is the name of it, but it can track where your connections are coming from, where they're going in, when they're going out, what's being connected, and you can shut those connections down. It'll give you a whole kind of rundown. And it's free for like a trial version, but it's really, really cool tool. If you dig into it, you can see the top processes that are running, but it's kind of a good way to see the connections, both inbound and outbound, and what's happening. So if you get a chance to check that out, definitely check that one out. So let's talk about the exorcism. Let's talk about getting rid of these things, right? And it goes beyond, come on. We might have to stand up here. Oh, hell. NPM audit and beyond. NPM audits are a great way to see what's going on in your package. You run NPM audit, it'll give you a list of security vulnerabilities within your application. Some of those security vulnerabilities can be packaged together. You usually get like a high, like a critical, a medium, or a low. It'll tell you the current vulnerabilities that are in your package or what's there. It's kind of a 3-step process though, beyond NPM audit. And it starts with people. People understanding and knowing security policies, how to identify these things, right? This is never just about software. It's not. There is a big people element to what we're doing, right? We are the ambassadors to the world when it comes to web and software. It's our job to keep these things secure. If you were in my accessibility talk yesterday, I always talk about user experience and the 3 things that are put on the back burner until shit hits the fan. Accessibility, performance, and security. We're all trying to cut corners because of a Fibonacci sequence or story points, Fibonacci story points, or 2-week Jira sprints, or a paycheck, or worried about our job, right? We gotta stop cutting corners. We gotta rely on each other. You might know everything there is because you're a security researcher. I'm gonna rely on you to help me fix these things, or help me to identify what's out there so I can help patch them. Automation and tooling is going to help with this, right? Knowing what tools to use, how to identify these things, how to fix them. And then trust. Trust in the system, trust in the people that you're using, or that you're working with. All of these things make it up. One thing not to do is pinning your dependencies like this, right? That's one thing that you don't want to do. The reason you don't do, or not pinning, but giving them specific versions to use, you don't want to do that because that just says to install all the latest things, up from here when there could be security vulnerabilities in there. You want to make sure that you're pinning your dependencies, so removing that. So it's just pinned straight off the bat, right? You don't want to install the latest version of something because that latest version, we just went through that. React had a React server components, a bunch of other React issues. A couple last month or so that were identified, a bunch of CVEs that were identified in React core. Another thing too is commit your lock file. Committing your, come on, this thing, I gotta buy a new one. Where did it go? Boop. It's fine. Commit your lock file. The reason you do that is because then you have a reproducible manifest, essentially. Not an SBOM. SBOM's a totally different story. You want to learn about SBOMs, come talk to me. You have a whole entire reproducible line of code there that can be shared across all your team. So make sure that you're doing that. And since those are locked in, because it's a lock file, it's not going to change unless you delete it and reinstall and change a bunch of stuff. Scope it. If you're creating packages, scope those packages, right? @scope / your awesome package, at your organization, whatever that tool is. And then be wary of post-install scripts. These are install scripts that do other things within there, open up things. It's like this, it would be your package JSON file, post-install node, post-install JS. There could be, if you're installing a package and you see a post-install JS, take a look inside that post-install JS. You might be able to identify some things that you don't really need or you don't really want, or things that look a little suspect. Stay away from that. So just be very wary of your post-install scripts in that JavaScript file. So to kind of stay ahead of the curve with your post-install scripts, you got a couple options. You can use PNPM to install your stuff instead of NPM, because PNPM will kind of ignore post-install scripts. Or you can run a command in your terminal and ignore those scripts when you're running npm install. So it's any npm install, and you pass an ignore scripts flag, and that will ignore those scripts as well, those post-install scripts. You got a handful of different ways to do it. Like I was saying, npm install -- ignore scripts. Then you have npm install package name -- ignore scripts. That's how you would do that one. Ignore scripts equals true, and you can run in a config. What the hell is that noise? And then npm config set ignore scripts to true. So there's a handful of different ways that you can ignore those scripts. Or you can just use pnpm. It's going to use npm under the hood, but it's going to bypass all of that stuff for you. This is another tool that you can use. It's an npm tool, a node tool, node CLI tool. Can I ignore scripts? And this will kind of handle all that for you, for uninstalling those scripts. To manage security risks by those npm install scripts, identifying third-party packages, etc. Then there's tools out there, SCA tools, software composition analysis tools, which are really cool. So I want to make sure these actually are going to go through. So this is just taking my blog. Dependabot's built into GitHub, right? This is an SCA tool. You can see the different things that it's flagging and tells you security warnings, right? This is just in my blog. Yes, I have to update my blog. Don't judge me. But it says transitive dependency tar fs212 introduced via these packages, right? There's patched versions. So you can go in and then you can update these, right? Whether you can do it manually or you could do it through your tooling. So that's one way to look at it, using Dependabot. Another is using Sneak. Does anybody use Sneak? So Sneak's a great tool. You can import your repos and you can scan them. using Sneak's open source tool. You can look within that project. So this one is a site I built for another talk demo that I do. You can open up your package JSON file, and you'll get like a whole entire rundown of scores of CVEs, critical, direct issues, transitive issues, priority scores, CVSS, CWEs. There's tons and tons of information in here that lets you know about your packages. If you import something into Sneak, it'll give you that rundown, import and scan. Come up with a good security policy. One of the pieces of a security policy I love the most is that you can lock down your GitHub. And what I mean by that is if you don't have permissions, if you're just an IC and you don't have permissions, you have to get a couple different manual reviews. Those have to pass before you can even merge your code. You can limit it to just merging. You can limit it to just squashing and merging, right? But you can set up all of these security policies when it comes to code inside GitHub. Is everybody currently doing that right now, keeping things kind of locked down? Cool. Does it work for your org and your team? Yeah, yeah. This kind of goes into Salsa too, and we'll talk about Salsa in a little bit. I got a few more minutes left. There's other tools out there to do this as well. There's processing tools in Node.js. There's eBPF. And then we have Salsa. And Salsa stands for Supply Chain Levels for Software Artifacts. Is everybody familiar with Salsa? SLSA? It's not really a tool. It's a framework for security. It's a checklist of standards and controls to prevent tampering, improving integrity across the stack, securing packages, infrastructure. It's getting away from being safe enough to being as resilient as possible at any link in the supply chain. So that's just a little rundown. Security framework, checklist of standards. I kind of ran through that already. Depending on who you talk to and who you ask, there's a couple different levels. You could have 0 through 4, which 0 is like just your baseline. There's 0 security at all, right? That's when your package would be haunted. Then you have level 1, provenance, being able to prove those things, proving that you can do all of these security policies, validating that the security is in place, right? Using hosted build service to prevent authorized changes during the process. Hardening integrity, isolating the build environment, completely blocking even the most sophisticated things that come along. Those are the main steps right there. If you take off haunted, you got 3. The 4th one is kind of your North Star. You want to get there. The whole system is locked down. There's no way there can be any security issues, right? But this all works through process in people in the various layers. Make sure that you have a team policy, kind of like with GitHub. Oh, come on now. Enforce it. Why the hell is that happening? Let me see if I can say it fast. Enforce it, stop cutting corners. Got it. Phew. Enforce your team policy. You can develop a team policy because of Salsa, right? If you're gonna submit code for a PR, it needs to go through 2 reviews, right? If you're gonna submit code through a PR, make sure that a security check has been ran through. Make sure to identify if there's any CVEs, common vulnerability and exposure. Those are the things that we patch at TuxCare. There's other people out there that are doing the same thing. Make sure that all those little standards and checks are in place through your team policy and through your security policy to keep you healthy. So we have some takeaways. Assume nothing. There's a great quote by Endor Labs, and they say, risk is risk. It doesn't matter. Does anybody work for Endor Labs? Risk is risk. There's a great article out there about security. Assume nothing, right? Anything could be bad out there. This is the web. It's the web and software. And it's our job to make things secure, accessible, and performant. Pin your versions so that way you're using the correct version. There's no way that that's going to be, unless it's changed or upgraded. And if it is changed, it'll be changed to a good patched version if there's a CVE within that package. Commit your lock files. That way you have a standard across the board that everybody at the organization or on your team can use and install the same versions. You're not running in a version of React here and a version of React there, Node, whatever the case may be. If you're building any private packages, scope them. That way you can keep them secure, nobody's going to install them, nobody can mess with them. And then implement SCA tooling, whether you use Sneak or any other tooling out there that your team or organization uses. If you're super into open source, there's tooling out there for you. Here are the show notes again if you didn't get a chance to snag that QR code. Resources, the slides, the video will be up. You have an opportunity to win a prize, which is pretty cool. I think we got a web camera up there right now that you can win. So definitely check out the show notes. I'm going to leave you with a parting quote. Sometimes shit happens, someone has to deal with it, and who are you going to call? There you go. That's my time, thank you. Enjoy the rest of CodeMash. Hopefully I'll see you on the road somewhere. Come to the booth, grab some swag, grab some comics, have a conversation with us, and maybe I'll see you next year. Thank you.